Hey, we're ready. We're here.
Oh, okay.
How does it feel, man, to be back? It's been a minute. Thank you all for coming back with us and hanging out because, yeah?
Yeah, we're good.
Was that too soon?
Yep.
You knew what we were doing. There's no secrets. You made that choice.
There were a couple of secrets here, John Finch. It's all good, though. We're here. I'm not wearing my sunglasses.
But what I'm saying is you heard me go, okay, we're going. You knew what was happening.
I thought you were just finching.
Oh, no way. No Finching here. But thank you for coming back. It is Finch and Thom's Untitled Talk Show yet again. And we're going to be talking about, Dreamhack, the actual SWC itself, talking about, Season 6 as well. There's a lot of stuff to go over. Hindu Man is actively
Can we cut to Finch's single, by the way?
Yeah, come to my single. There you go. It's me hanging out. I don't know why you wanted this to happen.
Because it says penis behind
Oh, you wanted it to show up as much as possible. Can they not see it in the wide? Is that true? I guess you kind of can't see that it says penis in the line. So.
I think it is what it is.
Hey, what up, Cobb, man? We just
Finch was talking about you before. He was like, yo, Splice is interesting because like Divios is like a larger than life dude, and so I love this face, by the way. Divios is like a larger than life dude, and so he's like an acceptable world champion, and like Aurora is a roar. Whereas like Kabam is like a regular guy, and it's like hard to buy that you're a world champ. Like I said, you're the guy that like sells me a Ford Fiesta. Like you're like the color blue as a person, and like that's not a world champion. I think you can own it. I think that's part of your charm. We'll see.
I just thought it was surprising. It is certainly surprising to me, at least. But.
Welcome to John and Thom's Untitled Talk Show, where we start off a new season by roasting the new world champions.
For no reason. I don't know why we did that. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it, I imagine. It'll be one of those things I go to the grave wondering why it happened at all. But yeah, we are going to be talking a little bit about just what happened at the event. And I want to talk specifically to you because I know a lot of people were concerned, talking shit, yada, 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 just about being at Dreamhack all together.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about my hair. But yeah.
No one gives a shit about your hair.
That's fair.
They think it's ridiculous, correctly so. But like they're talking about Dreamhack, right? And I don't even just mean the event itself. I mean us being there, not at Cobb in November, or whatever it is that you want to say about it. And I think that. I want your thoughts on it more than mine because you've been to more, you've worked to them. I went to Worlds 1, and then I was obviously at last year's, and then I was here for that too. So that I've only been to those.
Did you get a picture with me at Worlds 1?
No, I don't think I did. I remember I was at the NA play-ins, do you remember? Where like fat chunks of silver.
Oh my god, I remember those.
I was there and I sat next to you. I was in the bleachers and I was with my friends and I goes, that's F Dot, he's really cool, but he doesn't want to. I don't want to bother him.
You totally should have.
And then, well, yes, and that's what they said. And they're like, no, he'll like talk to you, and I'll be like, nah.
Especially because at that time, this was what, 2014, 2013, right? It was 2013. This is when I'm first starting. I'm not even. That was the only Smite LAN that I didn't work, and I wound up working it.
Right.
I drove down to that LAN in a Mini Cooper.
You were like staging, like stage hosting, right? I don't even know if you were casting.
Yeah, no, I was hosting the desk. I drove down to that LAN in a Mini Cooper with Wolfie. Nantan and Nantan's brother.
I believe this.
In a Mini Cooper. Now, I was a smaller man then, but I still wasn't slender.
Right.
And so that was a smelly Mini Cooper.
Kabam, yeah. I don't know why that happened. I'm sorry. I'm very confused about that. But yeah, and my friends are both telling me, and I was like, yeah, I'm in his chat, like he'll definitely know my name if I said my own.
You were like
name.
One of 20 people that watched me.
And they were like, nah, and they were like, go talk. And I was like, nah, and I didn't. So
no,
I definitely
whack.
should have. But
you're whack. That would have been funny. Like the other day when I went live, I retweeted myself from 2013. Right? Yeah. And it was like, hey, look, like it was like back on the Smite grind, June 6th, 2013. And that was like funny to me. Mm-hmm. I would have retweeted the picture of us.
Right.
And been like, me and John Finch. And it'd be like you.
That
would have been great.
You're right. I kind of
somehow
I didn't foresee myself here back then.
Did you look the same?
I was also smaller. But no, I didn't. I looked largely the same, yeah. Yeah, the Mog made up for it. Yeah. No, my hair was super short. Like that picture I put in the DS tonight where I was like, it looked like that. I think that's a great gift, by the way. I should have sent that to Jameson so it could be in the We can put it on stream. But how was it different for you? Did you like it better? I mean, be honest about it. I assume you only have that one gear, as Cobb just found out, for some reason. Compared to Cobb specifically, compared to that insular sort of I'm with my buddies feel, how was DreamHack?
DreamHack slam dunk. This was so much better for so many reasons. So I crudely drew like a situation, but essentially like what it is.
You understand how you told us nothing, right? I drew a situation. I have no information.
I drew a layout of the landscape, which I don't have with me. But essentially, like
Bummer.
it was. We were like, I'd say 2/5 of the venue. Right? This is a giant warehouse. Like when you go to Costco or Sam's Club, it's a giant fucking warehouse. And we're like 2/5 of the venue. We are louder. We are bigger. We are more colorful than everybody.
We literally got complaints after day one that we were drowning out other stages.
and like that, I was like, I'm not going to take my sunglasses off. It's like, you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. Well,
I'm just trying to and you, but as always, you refuse to let me. I don't understand why you insist on
anyway, we were proud of the fact that we were throwing Party X, right?
Right.
Like, so there were 2 entrances into the venue. We're 2/5 of it on the right side. And then the rest of it, like, we're here. Directly behind us is the end. It's like a pretzel stand, the bathroom, and Magic the Gathering, and like an F tier Hearthstone tournament.
Yeah.
They sat on folding chairs.
Yeah.
And then to our left is like college, like indie games and shit, and then high school League of Legends.
I think CS was not too far from us.
It was the high school League of Legends, Halo World Championships, and then Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
And like a Smash tournament. And like the Smash guys, like TK came over and was like, why do I hear you in my Smash area? I'm like, you're over there, dude. He's like, yeah, I just fucking hear F. screaming like an idiot. And I'm like, right? But so my point is that like, for people that were like, oh,
DSI.
You're going to come. For people that are like, you're going to come and not be at HRX, you're going to be at DreamHack, that's a lie.
Yes.
There's 2 entrances, and whichever one you go into, you're like, when you enter a giant warehouse like that, you're like, oh, what's going on? You see these lights and you hear the sound, and you go, that's where I go.
Right.
And whether or not you stay there is a different story, but like that's where you fucking go.
No, we drew, literally you would have been drawn in by the loudest, brightest thing happening. I mean, it really was an amazing experience, and just personally for me, I loved the way that we were set up, and we never could have done those things at Cobb, I don't feel, just because of how it's set up, right? Like a lot of our production members had so much more freedom, to do the crane shots, to have us literally in the audience.
So sick.
And I get to turn around and go, Aurora brought 35 people here, and then they roar up in front of me. It's a feeling that we never could have had at Cobb. Literally last year, we were like behind a curtain. I don't know. It's
as Smite grew, I think we've grown out of Cobb, and that might be shitty to say because maybe we want to be Cobb in the future. Sure. But I think we've just outgrown it.
They're different types of shows, by the way, is what I mean, and I like the one we're able to put on at DreamHack. Is what I mean, at least by it, sure.
Hindu Man is lying. He said his favorite part was the USA chant. I definitely don't think that was
Not only
true.
does he hates the chants specifically, like on a personal level about chants, and that it's USA.
That was actually a fun interaction because a rule for me, and when it comes to broadcasting, there's no such thing as absolute like hard rules. A rule for me, I never talk to the audience because God forbid they don't answer. Like, it's miserable. And poor Hindu Man, luckily it all worked out with the bit. Like he went for it, and like then I went for it, and it was like, haha, they're like chanting for the USA guy. But like that scares me. Him and Kelly do it, and they crush it.
Right.
I am afraid of talking to the audience, so I don't do that. But that one time I was like, all right, Graham did it, here we go. And I was like, all right, how about for me? And I expected crickets.
Right.
And the crowd just went for it, and Graham and I just looked at each other, we're like, we're here at Worlds. Like, that is so real. Worlds 1, we were commentating from the top, like in the back of the house. And so we would be casting to the TV and then turn around, and fans would be like turned around looking at us, watching our cast TV and watching us cast. I remember sometimes during the cast I'd be like, just like, wow, what a play, wasn't it? And I'd look at a fan, and the fan is like, Yeah, that was nuts, right?
Yeah, like there's dudes like looking at you from the crowd as you say it. You know, it's like it really is amazing. And if I could use like debate terms because that is who I am.
Yeah.
Like HR doing it at Dreamhack is literally plan plus, right? When we did debate, if the affirmative said we did something and my counter plan completely worked with their plan, they would say it's plan plus. We still win, by the way, because our thing can 100% still happen there. If you want Cobb, you had it. It was there. Yeah. You had your pocket of Smite where it was just us, it was just our fans, where I couldn't walk, 20 feet without being stopped for pictures and people who, like, there was a point where I walked by someone and I said, that draft is fucking dumb. And they literally laugh at me from the audience as I walk by because I just said it under my breath, right? It's still that environment. It's still that feeling. Also,
rival, by the way.
Yeah. Also, if you don't, yes, is exactly the game I said that about. And if there's ever a point where you were like, I'm not interested in this match, or maybe I just want to see EU or something like that, then you have Dreamhack. I don't know. It just seems like Plan Plus is how I would describe it. You had your feel. Also, you could go listen to guys rap and play Tekken. That was a thing that happened there too. There was like rapping Tekken going on. That was
the G Sports League.
Yeah.
The G Sports League, where you had to be a G, and like the caster was rapping. It was actually really sick. I mean, Finch was like, "Do we have to be here?" And I was like, "Yes, this is so cool." And he's like, "That's debatable." But was also really cool.
It would have been cooler if it was what I thought it was, which was a third guy just sort of like off the top of his head rapping. But they kind of like played rap over the speakers, and then they had a third guy sort of just popping off.
Yeah,
like he was doing the ad libs from your favorite songs, like the skirts or the what I mean, like that part. Double. And then also they played, and he was like, damn, that's it for, I don't know any Tekken characters, but like, you know what I mean? Like he was just kind of like halfway casting, but not really, just talking.
So the feel was big for me. This felt more like sports than a show, and like, that's me, right? Where there were like these bleachers, and then there was the house seats, and like people from the bleachers were getting rowdy and like yelling shit you probably shouldn't hear, and like, I'm down, dude. Like, that's so me. Like I said, there was like this metal sign in front of the fucking grate, and I was just banging it like it was hockey all the time. Like, bah, just making noise. Yeah. That feels out of place at Cobb. And then with Cobb, you leave, the game's over, and you leave the theater, and you come into this like lobby. And they dressed it up, and there's cosplayers, and it's cool to see players and stuff like that. But, like, it's a lobby, and then you, like, watch people smoke outside. Like, at HRX, at Dreamhack, the game was over, and, like, then you went and, like, watched Halo World Championship. Or, you stuck around, like, played Magic.
There was a concert
like,
every
stuff
night.
To do. Yeah.
When we were done, right? And, like, people went to that after.
There was just shit to do. Yeah, like, I mean, I went to, day 2 before finals, I definitely went to the EDM show, and, like, I just pulled a Tolly, and I just, like, danced till 2 a.m., dude.
Yeah.
Like, because it was 60 feet away in the same building.
There was a little speed run booth, and some of you might know I'm like a speed run nerd, and the only category I run was over there, and I was like, that's so cool. That's like a little bonus in my life. And so, I mean, I totally get people, and I don't want to make it seem like I think that you're 100% invalid.
I do.
And we're different in this. I get where you're coming from. If you're like, I kind of miss us being in the basement and just us hanging out, but you get that feeling there still. Plus all this other stuff. I don't know. It was a great experience. I loved it. I thought it was great.
This felt a lot like, so I'm talking a lot about Smite growing up. Mm-hmm. Like 6 years in, people are like, you should have been doing it already, or blah, 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 blah. First of all, it's just not how the like ecosystem works. But second of all, it's also like, this felt like being, for me, it was like 8th to 9th grade, but a lot of people did this in high school where, like, growing up, you have your small group of friends, and then when you go to, like, your first house party with that group of friends, like Superbad style, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys are used to, like I said, Superbad's a good example, where you and, like, your 3 boys, like, playing N64, when they're hanging out and doing your thing, and then you go to your first house party, and you still have your group of boys that you're going to, like, talk with, but, like...
And they have a Nintendo 64, too. You can go have that corner and play.
And there's
if that's truly what you want.
And there's, like, 100 people at the party. You're interacting with everybody. As far as Smite's concerned, as far as, like, we were able to seat more people in our area than we were, like, at Cobb, in addition to the fact that there was all this extra space for, like, people to just sit and stand.
There were times when Paladins and we just extended our displays over there and sat more people. It really was a great experience.
Day 1 was really cool because my favorite thing to see is my favorite thing to see is workers scrambling to get more chairs.
Yes, that's what was happening on day one. They were carting them in.
Yeah.
They were like, I see.
By the time finals happened, there were people just like standing out in the wings, and like we would just reach capacity in the theater. Like you could just stand from like 20 miles back and be like, oh, I'm in the nosebleeds, but I'm watching Splice win. Like you could do that, and that just wasn't available. So more people able to sit in the actual area, more people to just cross contaminate, if you will, and other shit to do even if you are there for mainly Smite. It's also downtown Atlanta, so if you didn't want to do nerd stuff, you can go ahead and do all the Coca-Cola things. It was just a better trip, and the scooters.
I don't know what that was. There were these scooters you could like rent, I guess.
Yeah, if y'all have ever been to LA, like San Jose, San Francisco, the Bay Area.
If you're from a real city, we sound silly right now. But
yeah,
so everyone else.
Yeah, so they have these scooters. They look like little Razor scooters. They're electric, and you put your driver's license and your credit card in your phone. You scan the little like QR code, and then you're like, it's $1 to just like, and you just like zoom around on your little scooter. And like that's fun. It was a more fun area. More people were able to see Smite. The energy was electric, and that's something that I just give a shout out to the fans. That's always the same.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I was a little worried about was, will the energy be the same leaving the basement into the big party? Yeah. And it was perfect.
And it's so tough to explain it too, because I know there are some people for whom January was just better. Like it just worked. It was not out of altruism that we were in January. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't looking out for anyone. So, and there were a ton of people I talked to, and I talked to as many people as I could. I go, "How are you enjoying this compared to Cobb?" And they're like, "Well, this is the first one I've been able to go to." You know, it's the same way. As much as it might affect your life this way, it's other people now where doors are open. So we just got to try and. Yeah, it's all on me, by the way. Like I'm the one blowing up your spot. There's people that it works out for different times. It'll never work for everyone. So I'm glad we had an opportunity where there were some other people who could finally come.
Yeah, I mean, homies in the stream, I know a couple of people that were like, yo, I can't come because of this change. And then I know a couple of people that were like, I'm hyped to be able to come because of this change. Yeah, so, 100%. You know, it's
never gonna work for everybody.
Yeah, 6 years in, it was cool to see some new faces, but at the same time see some of the old faces. You know, that was really fun. So overall, it was funny because I spit this kind of same like thing before we went to Dreamhack, and then after the fact, just like, yes, it came true. Right. Like everything I said, not as a pat on my back, but more as like a, I was right. Like, all of those things about like crossplay. Like I said, a cool thing also was the after party. I met a bunch of people. I went to the Twitch partner party. I met a bunch of people there, and then I brought them to the HRX party, and they were like, "Oh, this is cool. Like Smite rules. I'm going to try and play." And like I've seen new streamers play Smite.
Yeah.
We've just seen that, and part of that I think is from that cross contamination at Worlds. So that was really sick to me. I was really excited. Dreamhack definitely a slam dunk in my opinion.
I think so, and that's just like the venue, you know, to talk about the games themselves. It would have been hard, I imagine, to sort of predict what would have happened. I kind of want to, let's see if we can take a look at the day one. There it is, day one schedule. It was, I guess we have the top teams that went in. Well, you got them. We'll tell you who they were playing up against. Space Station up against Dig in the first slot. Obey up against Splice. E United played Trifecta, and Energy played Rival. And it's tough to sort of to know to have predicted how that was going to go, right? Start with Space Station. I thought, even though they lost 2-1, they looked way better than I would have thought they looked in that set, at least for my money. I don't know. I thought that they had a chance to win it going into the last set.
Meerkat called me out on Stephen A. Smithing all the time now.
You don't Stephen A. Smith that much. You kind of did. I see what he means. Never mind.
Jeff Hindler's a dear friend of mine. I love him very much. But so
sure,
I love those dudes.
You've always been the guy that like knows the players though.
I am. It's funny. I know the players, but I don't talk to them like in DMs. Like everybody has all these rumors and shit. I'm never a rumor guy.
That's more like aggro and taco, I would say. But you're like the one who goes, here's where Jeff is from. This is who he is as a person.
Well, that's kind of what I. Flavor,
you know?
I try to like prioritize in my commentary. But anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Mess that up.
No. Yeah. I love those dudes, but dude, I'm never fooled by Space Station anymore.
Oh, is that what? So like they're like fool's gold. You don't believe in them, I guess, or
I don't like. I just don't.
well, and unfortunately, because they've been through so many shifts, you mean you don't believe in Jeff and Barra? Like the team has shifted so much now. I mean, it's Ven on that team now. You know, they don't have Basket there anymore. I mean,
you know, it's weird because like I don't think that I would say out loud that I don't believe in Jeff and Barra.
Right.
But every team that they have taken since winning Worlds, I haven't. I like. Sure. I was fooled season 2. I was fooled season 3. Season 4 I was like, no. Oh, they're gonna do. I got fooled again in season 4, and then season 5 the same shit. So like I went into Worlds going, no way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you think it would go 3 games even in that first set?
Yes.
I did not. I didn't think they had a chance.
I think that they are always.
Dig to me is becoming the fool's gold. Can I say that, by the way? I've been on that train for a while, and I get heat for it. And I think I am very right on that. And I would love to roast them.
I was still on the Dig train, honestly. Like, I got off, I got back on. But yeah, no, I think Space Station have just always, they fooled me too many times.
Sure. It sounds like Dunsparce is feeling this similarly in the chat. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because I think that we saw from Space Station somewhat we haven't seen in a while. Ironically, Jeff and Barra, I thought, looked better at LAN, right? Yeah. Especially Barra, who for a while now hasn't played consistently well. It no longer is a headline that Aqua stomps all the time, right? We take that for granted. Annister looked much better as well, and Ven played fine. It just looked like, once again, Picks and Bans kind of got away from them in Game 3. And it's sort of like someone who, almost like an alcoholic, right? At a certain point, you can't, I don't want to hear that Picks and Bans got away from them ever again.
Yes.
That is always their problem.
Especially when you have Dimmy this time.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't want to put it at Dimmy's feet. I don't
How
want to say
much
that.
do you put it at Dimmy's feet?
I think that they only won Game 2. They won Game 2, right? Or the game they only won is because of Dimmy, by the way. So I don't want to put the loss at his feet, but you're right. Picks and Bans.
Dimmy has to hold that L.
It comes down to him.
Dimmy has to assist in holding the L with the team.
Sure.
Because Dimmy came in with a resume the size of something very big.
Texas.
Sure. And with that, he's got
It's a big place.
Yeah, sure. And he's got a big presence. He's got to be able to take that and go, all right, I'm here.
Oh, is that what it was? You said resume the size of, but that's not what you meant. I get it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying he's got a bunch of clout and a bunch of, like, nonsense to lean on. He is supposed to be able to fix you.
Like a third support structure.
Yes, sure, like a tripod. This is a guy that, like, coming in, he was less of a coach and more of a consultant. Like,
right.
we have all of the tools and we are still drowning. Teach me how to swim while I'm already in the water and have all of the muscles.
And I think part of it is that...
And his job was to fix it.
Yes, and part of it is that in-game, they'll get away from what they know often.
Yeah.
Part of it is Picks and Bans, but I think that... And I think we slightly differ here. I think you can definitely lose a game in Picks and Bans, but I don't think you lose a game the way you lose Game 3 in Picks and Bans. Because it's one thing to be out there with a rake instead of a shovel, but you should be able to break some ground still, and they couldn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think it is some at Demi's feet, but also they completely floundered when they finally got there. So I'm with you, yes, but maybe a little softer.
Yeah, I think Hindu brings up a good point. How much did the team actually listen to him? Fine, but Picks and Bans were poor.
Right.
Even in the games that they won, they were not optimal in my opinion. I'm a big stickler for Picks and Bans.
Sure.
And I don't think that Dimmy kind of dunked on the spot where you dunk. And we have coaches in the chat. Cobb seemed to be the first one to tell me a coach is a lot more than just Picks and Bans.
Yes. And
that I'm doubling down on my commentary about that. Like, sure, if the team doesn't listen, that's still the coach's fault.
No, and that's yes, I 100%. If you're in a situation where the people that need to respect you don't respect you, that is part of the problem.
You're goofing.
Right? You know, and especially if it hinders your job. And I think it's good you bring up Kabam, because that's an example of someone who I think did not have that tripod leg you alluded to earlier, right? Coming into it, or at least we did not think so. I wouldn't have said it coming in, but clearly there was something there to what he was able to do for that squad that they couldn't get from Demi. But they end up dropping that set. I mean, anything else stand out to you in that one aside from that? Dig, I think that it also said something that Dig didn't win it 2-0. I think they should have.
That's the bigger point for me.
And I don't want to talk too much about Dig just yet, but yes, they should have.
I do want to clarify that, like, I don't. It's from our conversation. It sounds like I put most of the L on Demi. I disagree with that. I think he's a smaller part, but I think that a lot of people are coming out of this going like, well, it's just G lost, but it wasn't Demi's bad. And like I don't buy that. You're part of the squad. You're part of the loss. That's how that works. I think he could have done better. I think the team could have done better. And so I don't know. It was just rough. Jeff played better the end of this year than he has in a long time.
Yes.
And I hope. Do we hope that they break up?
No.
That seemed non-committal.
It was. Well, I mean, like, so I still consider myself with my toe in fan. You know what I mean? And as a stupid fan, no, I love Jeff and Barrett together, right?
I'll say the same.
But at what point can we admit that the ship is not sailing, right? It's not working, whatever you want to say. So maybe. I don't know if the Jeff Barrett part is the problem, but I wouldn't want to see Space Station the same way they were at the end of that season here in Season 6 because they can't get it done.
Yeah, the Jeff Barrett question is big for me because I think that both of
their
them
laning phase is good. Always.
It's not the best though.
Sure. And
Could
they have enough history to be the best. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. The question is, could they still be? Blah blah blah. I don't know. I think it's one of those scenarios where,
for the record, I think the best right now is Cyclone and Divio, or Cyclone, Spin, and Aurora. Not just because they won, but just in general. They're very good.
I would agree. I think you got to look at Arkle and Trix.
They're good too. Yes.
But the main
I can't wait to talk about it at this
like,
point. I am in dick.
The main thing is that just like it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And definition of insanity, repeating, etc. Right?
Is that a real quote?
Yeah.
Okay. I never hear it all the time. I don't know. I don't know.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's
I don't know who said that.
Albus Dumbledore. He was a sociologist in
he is really
1400s in Hungary.
What is that? Percy Jackson and the Olympians? Was that?
He was more Roman.
Okay, more. Yeah. I don't like to roam too much. I like to know where I'm going.
Sometimes when I go international, I have to change my phone plan so I don't enact roaming.
I like intercontinental breakfasts.
IHOP's all right.
Isn't that international?
International House of Pancakes.
Right now is call us and vote. Hindu man, no.
Yeah, I hard disagree. He said, like, statistically, sure.
I think that statistically, they're 3-6 in World Finals, if that's what Hindu means by statistics.
But, I mean, getting to World Finals is a big fucking deal.
It is, yeah. Winning them is an even bigger one.
I don't know if Collis and Vote are the like I said.
I don't think they're the problem.
I would say, shit, I don't know. Top 3 are definitely, I would put them in top 3 with the other 2 that we've mentioned.
Yeah, they're very good. Rival, we'll talk more about them specifically later on. I don't want to get too much out of order. I do want to ask you a bit about Obey, because I don't know if Obey were just in front of a freight train that was never going to slow down, or if they underperformed here, because they lost to Splice 2-0, and my gut feeling is that literally everyone did lose to Splice, so it just happened to be them first, right? Like I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what your take is.
I think Obey came into this on the on-ramp going 80. And like, yo, we're good. And then Splice came through in the Lotus at $120, like, and just trucked them. Like, yeah. I think Obey played the best they could, and not in a all you tried way.
Right.
I think like Splice just spanked that booty.
But I think that it is fair to note they were relatively long games, which Splice likes to play anyway. So they were close, but it isn't horseshoes. You know what I mean? I can't give them too much credit for that, but it's not as if they got completely walked over. But I think that Obey was a team that could have potentially won, especially when energy is not as strong as they often are. E-United didn't look very good. If they're on a different side of the bracket from Splice, we might even have a different final. That's how strong I still think Obey were.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Cobb nails it. They didn't lose by that much. Like, that was a closer game. That's what I mean.
I agree, Cobb, yeah.
That's what I mean is that, like Pretty Prime and that squad played fucking lights out, and they still got stomped. There's an argument to be made that Obey played better than some of the teams that were later on in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good-ass team. So, yeah, no, Obey are one of the losing teams that I like. You did it, bro. Like,
yeah, I don't know if I agree with tied up either. I thought Zelia played well that set.
Zelia played all right. I
thought he played well.
I thought he played all right. Divios just reached back.
Divios is very, very good. Even when Splice was here, I mean, like, and that is my true analysis. When Splice was 1-7 or whatever the hell they were, Divios was winning lane. I don't know how to say it differently than that.
Divios sees that solo lane so much differently. He just gets it.
Yes, that's definitely
Divios. I don't know. I've been a fanboy of Divios for a long time. I just like the way he plays the game. He's one of those guys that. He's like a Vince Carter, but like he's really young, so like this analogy kind of breaks down. But the idea that like he's good at the game because he loves the game.
Right. He's the guy who's shooting in the gym when they turn the lights out, right?
Yeah.
It feels like that sort of thing, and it's hard it's hard not to win even when or it's hard to lose when someone is as committed as he is. And I think the way that you said it gets it is kind of the best mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone plays the solo lane better than him. The way that he plays it in particular, the way that he'll push any small advantage, the way that he always seems to get something. I mean, this is a bad example because I'm very bad at the game and nothing I do matters, right? But it's like we were playing the playtest the other day, and I was the only person winning my lane in the playtest because I had a good matchup, and that's literally it. I'm not good. And I didn't do anything with that. You know, it didn't matter that I was 2 levels up on him. I got to affect the rest of the map. Divios will be 1 creep wave up on you and affect the rest of the map with it. You know, he'll take anything and make something good come from it. So I think that his understanding is it's out there.
Yeah, it really translated. Obey, by the way, they have a documentary coming out today on YouTube. We'll link it after the show. It's a cool watch. It's kind of Obey the org is leaving Smite. That's pretty upsetting. And then Pretty Prime is leaving Smite. Not because of Season 6 changes, just because his life in general. He had a kid. Bless him and everything. But yeah, so the org's leaving Smite, big picture stuff, and then so they put together a documentary. So that'll be out a little bit later today. We'll link it in the description, or well, we're live. We'll just put it in the fucking chat.
Sure. Yeah, if there's some world where we didn't say it enough, you know, Prime's commitment, I think, can be unquestioned. He flew here after the baby born, right? I mean, like, I don't think we can ask anything more of the guy, and I appreciate everything he's done. The way he handled the situation was as classy, I think, as you can.
Yeah. If you're not going to win Worlds, that's the performance you want to go out on. Yeah. Maybe not lose day 1, but like that's I was really impressed with Obey.
Yep. He was definitely the pacemaker that got them there anyway, I would say, at least. He was very, very good for that team. Go ahead.
He was the pacemaker. He was like the heart of the team. I like that. That was good.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, dude. Flashlights on the joke. You know who else lost and probably shouldn't have lost? Oh, what is this that's happening? The problem is because we're not lobbed, you can't bang on the table anymore.
Wait, we're not what?
Lobbed? Is that not the right?
It's a V. Lob.
Oh, is it love?
Yes.
Is that true?
It's for lavalier.
Is that true? Jameson, say words.
It's true.
I don't mean like I'm.
No, I need to be told at some point.
I don't mean.
I'm not embarrassed. I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's lavalier. You fucking idiot.
No, I didn't know. I thought you were lobbed.
No. It's lavalier. So you're wearing a lav mic.
I know that.
Yeah.
I thought I know.
A lob is when I'm like here. I like lob a phone at you.
But I say that all the time. How have you never heard me say it wrong?
I don't really listen to you.
Cool. So it did end up getting with me dunked on anyway. No matter what. Anyway, someone who we can dunk on, EU United, who lost to Trifecta. So Trifecta played up. I think they played well in that set. And, And by that I mean that Scary D looked good, and he hadn't looked good yet to me. Zapman looked good, and he hadn't looked good yet to me. So yes, EU United lost it, but I think also Trifecta kind of like, I don't know, like Super Saiyan.
Yes.
More equivalent to like the hidden potential like Dende, Krillin, Gohan arc from Saiyan from the Namek saga, but that's irrelevant. It was like that moment when it got pulled out of them, they suddenly like saw everything in like Neo in the Matrix mode.
Yeah, when like it was like when Luffy did the pirate ship thing. I agree.
Dude, One Piece.
So,
Yeah.
And so I agree with.
Name 2 other One Piece characters.
The monkey and the boat.
Anyway, your United thoughts.
So no, Trifecta just absolutely stepped up. This was. I actually thought. I actually put this out on a tweet. Mm-hmm. I had zero faith in them coming into it, and then I thought they were going to win it all after day number 1, because the way that they played reminded me of E United. I've told the story a number of times.
Splice or Trifecta? I'm sorry.
Trifecta.
Trifecta.
Cliff notes of it is that I wasn't on E United until they fucking won the world championship.
Right.
Like I wasn't. I thought they were better teams. I thought they were gonna
very
lose.
much mirroring Splice and when they did this.
Exactly. But then when I saw E United play day number 1, I went, oh shit, and that's what I did. Now it's Splice with Trifecta.
Right.
I thought Trifecta was going to just fire hose everybody out. They didn't, but that first day was, everybody was scary.
Well, at the end of day 1, if I'm comparing who I thought was at the front runner, because I thought it was Splice, but I thought their weakness was that Moswell couldn't play anything but Opwash, and if you banned it, you would win, which is what Rival tried.
Sure.
And it turned out it did not work, and which was kind of a big deal. But like that's literally what I thought was going to be the thing for them.
Moswell is like the Vulcan player for the counterculture.
Yeah.
Like when you say Vulcan, you always think of like Allied to People's Vulcan, then you've got fucking Pretty Prime is like Papa Vulcan, and then like Moswell is like the underground Vulcan guy.
Yeah.
And so like y'all just didn't know.
Right. But no, I agree. Trifecta is this other team that looked good, right? And you're wondering, how much of them is this E United slumping, or how much of it is them looking legit? And I think you can say this. I mean, they got Baskin. It's so hard for you not to consider that an upgrade over Ven. You know what I mean? Like, not that Ven's bad, that Baskin's that good. And you have an individual. You added another Kobe to the team. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty wild, and they still weren't able to win. So it's a lot that I was expecting from Trifecta after that, for sure.
How old did Kobe and Shaq play together?
Very well.
At the end of it,
not well. But they hated each other. I doubt they hate each other.
They don't hate each other.
Right?
My point is that the human element is important.
Fair.
As well.
Right.
I think the human element is a very big deal.
Thanks, Tyler.
And so like if he's talking to me, if Baskin and Venenu, I don't know. They both wound up where they needed to wind up, but I think that there's still like some butting heads there.
Is there, moving on to the final match of the day, is there more to it than for Energy's loss than Yemen missing? No. So here's my thought on this. Yemen means a lot. I am surprised he meant that much. I am surprised that's how much he meant. An 0-2 loss to Rival, and it wasn't particularly close.
Yaman is the GOAT.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
I put my money on that.
He's top 3 all time for sure. Perhaps our most consistent player. He's insanely good.
That's what it's about. This is baseball, not NFL.
Yeah.
You've got to be consistent. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Yaman shows up and consistently gives you a 9.5.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gives you an 11. He'll never give you a 15. Actually, that's a fucking lie. He even does the dunk. Yeah. Like that's how you balance a character. He's not a balanced character.
Right, yes.
He's over fucking powered.
Yes.
The thing with Yaman is he will never give you below an 8.
But that's the thing, Tied Up. Homie, I agree that Homie didn't play badly.
No, Homie did his job.
Which is not the point, right? What was clearly evident there was that maybe there's even like a mental aspect to having the whole team there.
Yes.
To the point that you can fit in someone who's doing well, and it still isn't enough for everyone to perform at max level, right? Having everyone there, having everyone mentally thinking they're at 100%, I think hurts. Yeah, yes. 100%. Yeah.
I absolutely believe in that. Homie did his job. Homie played well. They could have won with Homie playing mid.
Yes.
I think that there was breakdowns across the team. I think that I think everybody just didn't. Nobody on Energy had their best games possible.
And here's what I want to say, because
losing Yaman was big.
And the difference between a king and a jack is that the king lets you do what you want to do. Let's say Homie came in and played fine generic Smite, which I think is what he did.
Yes.
Did he come in and play energy Smite? I don't think he did. Right. That's what I think. That Homie was cleaning up a lot of fights on the back end. He was hitting his abilities.
I mean, he did almost solo Wolfie. That's true. Like he played very well, but he did not. And
that's why vanilla Smite isn't bad Smite. It's not energy Smite, is what I mean, right? So if what they were missing was the identity that Yemen lets them have, then that's why they looked worse, right?
Yeah.
Homie came in and played a good mid laner, but you needed Yemen, unfortunately.
And I think that mental aspect is also really huge. Coming in and just like people were tearing apart Energy's picks and bans, and I even saw some idiots say that like, oh, they like threw.
Sure.
Like on purpose, and I'm like, first of all, how fucking high are you? Thinking like, oh, we lost on purpose.
One thing was very clear: they very much wanted to win.
Yeah,
like,
I think absolutely what wound up happening was like, shit, it just sucks. You don't have Yaman, and like that is a squad that's been together for a long time. This isn't a new squad.
Yes.
And even
particularly that part of it, right? Emil and Yaman, yes, they've been together for a long time and adapting. Yes.
Yeah, you just can't lose that.
Yeah.
That's why Energy lost. Yaman wasn't there.
But that is the difference. I was surprised it meant that much because they're not not only do they replace him with someone very good, they're all contenders for best in their role on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Emilito is perhaps just the best hunter all the time on a regular basis. Adapting is the guy. When we say when we start the best player in the world conversation, we have to start with him all the time. You know what I mean? That's how good this team is. So to me, I was surprised Yaman missing meant that much, but it seems as if you kind of saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, Yaman is, I don't know, man. Yaman's a special guy, in and out of the game.
Yes,
really affected the team.
But it was good to see Rival come in and win that match, I would say, for them, because it meant that Rival was kind of, when it came to taking care of business, they were ready to do it. Yeah. And it bode well for me on that one. If I could talk about what my mentality was at the end of the day, I did think Splice was the best looking team at the end of that day, but I thought that Rival and Dig both looked scary enough that they were my favorites probably out of everyone.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was definitely scary. Day 2 though, and I think we got to brag for day 2 as well. Let me take a look here and see. There it is, making the magic happen. Dignitas up at the top end of the bracket against Splice, then Trifecta and Rival. And this was the day. Is
that on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can look at that and see it. That is the matchup that, this is the day I think surprised people, right? We had 6 total matches when there could have been, 11? Or no, there would have been 4 more. 10 matches, right?
Yeah.
So very surprised that it went this way, that it was 6-0s all the way through. Wait, what is Hinderman doing? Why is he pog champing?
Yeah, I mean, Splice and Rival. I don't think I was more surprised about the Trifecta set. That's the one I thought would go.
You did say that you were high on Trifecta after day 1, so that would surprise you more. I thought the most competitive set was going to be set 1, and it was a very good set. I was surprised that Splice won it the way they did, 3-0.
Yeah, I guess so. Splice just had so much steam. Splice had so much steam that I was surprised at how unsurprised I was. Does that make sense?
Sure. You were like, I mean, yeah.
I was sitting in the crowd and I was like, that's kind of what we expected. Okay, sure.
And the part that for me, I remember I was in the audience talking about it because that was the one I casted. I was saying that for Splice to win this set, they need to win game 1,
right? Because
I think Dignitas are the kind of team that you can tilt and that will choke. And I now have my chance to say this, which I've been dying to say. I've called Dignitas having a land problem coming into spring of this year. Mm-hmm. Personally, I was saying that was the storyline we should be pushing because aside from Valencia, they seem to choke at those big moments, and it happened again in spring. They didn't even make it in summer, right? And then here, semifinals is not the aspiration for Dig at this event. I think Dig, especially without Yaman on energy, were the best team coming into the event.
Dignitas had the best Vegas odds for sure.
Yes. And it definitely is disappointing to me that that's where they go down. And I think you're right. They end up meeting this immovable object that is Splice, and maybe that's just what happens to everyone who played Splice.
And the Dig guys had the same reaction. Day 2, I was watching, and I was rooting for Dig, and I was just like, oh,
it's rough.
It was why? Oh man, it was like watching your swagged out friend get rejected at the bar.
Right.
Or just lose a fight to a guy you shouldn't have and be impressed with the way the other guy fought.
Right.
Realistically, I go back to my first analogy where the guy gets shut down and the girl's really funny about it. And
maybe you're that we're all very much on her side or something at the end.
Yeah, and your boy comes back and is yo, what happened? He's I said this embarrassing pickup line and she just came through and stomped and I'm just yo, I'm gonna go holla. That was impressive.
I don't even know if I want to hit on her. Can we swap y'all out? She's clearly
she's the cooler person. That's kind of how I felt watching Dig. I was well, if Divios is just gonna do that, well, all fucking right. Like, that's how that goes.
And I've said it before. The duo lane from Splice is what continually impresses me because they play with their cards are face up on the table, 100%. Right? They want to play aggressive. They need early pressure, and they're gonna bring Divios over oftentimes and just like Goomba stomp you, and they don't even need to kill you. They want to steal your buffs, and everyone knows.
They're at the line of scrimmage, and they're like, we're going to hit you.
We're going to run it, like, through here. Yeah.
The fullback is going through the 3-hole, and that's it.
Is that football stuff?
Yeah. Hike, and then the fullback goes through the 3-hole, and he just punches you in the face.
Yeah, it's
and you sit on the ground like, what did I expect? Like, I'm routinely impressed. I'm routinely impressed with Divios.
Yes.
Like, Sino does his thing, but I can't watch. And again, I love watching classic Divios. Back in the day, you brought up that old land, the build up to.
Oh, talk to Hindu. I pitched it.
And looking at Divios, I remember. I think it was very early on. I think it was the path to 100K, like that.
Goodness.
Or maybe it was when we were here in the studio. Divios was role playing Bologna.
like literally like yelling stuff.
It
can't have been the path to 100 then. I don't think.
Yeah, probably not. I think maybe it was season 1, but he was like, "Rally here, eat my hammer," and like giggling while he's 1v3ing. Like that is Divios in my mind.
Vintage
and
Divios, yes.
Watching him win, it was old school Divios. He was just out there, like he was giggling. I was like on stage and trying to creep and everything, looking at player cams, and he's like, "They can't kill me." Like that's he's winning the world championship. Like that is how you win me as a fan.
Yeah.
I love it. I fucking love it.
And I'm sorry that we haven't talked about Sino enough. I feel like maybe it's because he got the MVP and we talked so much about him at the actual event, or something like that we've kind of been shying away from. But his performance was so impressive, the entire land, because the target was on his back, right? Like, I think in picks and bans, the target was on Sino's back. And I think he was the beneficiary of a very good jungler meta, by the way. Can I say that?
Yes.
That there are a ton of good junglers going into that lane who can play just about anything. So he definitely benefited from that. But, the Erlang Shen obviously is up there being, taken away from it. He's constantly the focus, and he just kept beating you, like, straight up, right? And it felt like those 50-50s in the jungle where it's like level 2 or 3 or both so low, but Sino comes out the better every time, somehow, a little bit. And that was enough for a Splice to get ahead. It helps that they always have duo lane pressure, but, Sino, he played so well.
Sino was an integral part of the team for sure. He's my Naja boy, man. Like, yeah. I think Naja is one of the best characters. I think he's extremely fun to watch, and Sino's like, bet. Like and I loved I love the attitude of gaming. I love the story around the competition. You're gonna come up here. That was an iconic post game. Like, you can't give me Naja, you can't give me this, you can't give me that, can't give me that. Like huge. That was an iconic post game. If a football player said that, it would be on SportsCenter for 3 weeks.
No, and the part that's great about it is that there's no. That seemed like the kind of moment where there's like goading or coaching from us, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's none of that. That is Sino feeling it, rightfully so.
And I'm all about it.
Yes,
I'm all about
100%.
it. Like, and I, it's like, did Splice win because of confidence alone? Absolutely not. Was that a part of their win?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You pour that into the potion or whatever. That was definitely in there.
They played better than everybody, and they thought they were better than everybody. And that's why they were better than everybody.
And I'm glad Drisky brings up Cyclone Spin, because that guy is that emotion, that feeling you just described, like incarnate. I don't think I saw him smile or laugh when they won, because I think Cyclone Spin expects to win all things he does. I think that's just how he expects it to go. He's like, yeah, I've only lost to energy from you, so like, I don't expect to lose. Like, he said that to me. Like, he's come out the stage and I go, "You excited?" All he goes, "No, I expect to win." He just like
Cyclone's a machine, man. He gets it done.
Go home. I'm gonna go home and rewatch Food Wars. Like he just expects to win.
Which again, I was talking a lot about the support system of Splice.
How do you feel about tomorrow? Gonna win.
We're talking about the support system of Splice. Cyclone's parents are not that way.
Right.
Cyclone's dad is super into it, like super. He always makes a point to like shake my hand and say like, you know, thanks for doing everything, and I'm like,
Right.
you know, thanks for coming. It's cool to see the port, and he's just like, yeah, man, I was worried about like the switch from solo to hunter, but he's doing it, and like, you know, he doesn't know all of the X's and O's, but he's 100% invested, and like, you know, he's like, yo, you excited finals? He's like, oh my, like him, you know, him and Cyclone's mom are like, oh my god, like, Cyclone's like, Bart.
he's like, right, because I should be there. And
Yeah,
then we're gonna win it.
It's so cool. I love that approach. It's so much fun.
It's so crazy. But yeah, that's the set that I guess not only was surprising me, but it's very. I then am thinking no one's beating Splice, right?
Yeah.
After that 3-0, I go, oh, well, it almost doesn't matter who comes out of here. And unfortunately for Rival, I didn't put much stock in their win here, if that makes sense. Maybe I wasn't as high on Trifecta, but it's like they 3-0 Trifecta, and I go, as you should.
Yes.
Right? You know,
yes.
and now you've got to come in and win this matchup against the team that no one can seem to slow down in that Trifecta set. But I don't know. It felt like a bit of a collapse from them, I guess, from Trifecta, but mostly it felt like what I expected in that set.
I expect. I mean, after number one, I expected a lot more.
Sure.
I had Trifecta beating Rival all the way to the end of the set.
Right.
I was surprised there.
They are not a team that I count out because they're down 2-0. I agree with you on that, right? Like, they're the team that likes to. I remember at placements when they gave up all their tier 2s, the Fire Giant, and they're down like 2K gold maybe, and they give it up. And on broadcast, I'm like, this is wrong. Why are you doing that? And then they defend like 4 times in a row, and then they win. And I talked to them after. They go, well, why'd you make the call? And they go, because that's like how we play. We're not tilted. We're like fine playing from behind. Exactly. And you're right. You know, I think that you're right to say all the way through the set you can still believe it.
I remember speaking to somebody specifically about it in between matches.
Right.
I was just talking to some fan. I couldn't tell you his name or anything, but it was him and his girl, and they were just like, yeah. So what about Trifecta? Like, rip them? I was like, no. They're like, they're down 2 games. I was like, Paul.
They probably don't even know.
Yeah, like that team, the Paul factor, like, and sure, like maybe we spoke too much about like young Eminem, but like Slim Shady is absolutely the catalyst for that team. At any point, he can just get 10 kills and win the fucking game.
Yes.
And I think that
they have a second one.
Yeah.
Named Sam for Soccer.
Yeah.
Who could also do that at any point.
And
yes.
and I just think that like Sam I don't think Sam has the potential to like do it himself like he does it with the squad. I think Paul
I'll disagree with you on that.
Like one of maybe, I don't know. There's like 2 or 3 players in the whole league that can do what Paul does.
Right.
And
it's like basket level, right? Or adapting level.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the 2.
Yeah.
Like Cubo Fred, it's funny. Like I think Cubo Fred at times might be better than adapting, but doesn't have like. This is my game now. Adapting has that potential. Not at this Worlds, but like watching what
adapting played well, by the way. If you look back at it, you'll go, "Oh, adapting's adapting." Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Not Thor. But watching
that wasn't the pick.
But no, watching Trifecta, at no point did I think they were out until the Titan fell.
Right.
And also Rival just wasn't impressive to me. I was unimpressed with Rival.
It's weird. That sort of what I had at the event was the thing a lot of people had, like going into like summer maybe or something like that, right? Or it's like, well, Rival wins, yeah, but they don't impress me. I've never felt that way. They're like our most consistent team. Sure, they're like our most consistent team, right? They won before going into Worlds, second place Worlds, win spring, second place in summer, second place again here in fall. There's no more consistent team than them across the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm very much ignoring you, but for some reason, up until this Worlds, I believed in them, and then all of a sudden I was just like, you got to show me now. For some reason, I had that feeling, and then they couldn't do it. No team has been better. I must say that in black and white. I think across the last year and a half, they are our best team. I think that is true. Who's been better than them? But that's the feeling you get. Even though it's mathematically true, you feel it. I get that. I have that feeling that you're expressing. What is this? You must now say words. Go to his single. Don't ever leave.
Sometimes numbers fib.
Science is a liar sometimes. To quote the best show there's ever been.
I just don't think. Like, I get it. Yeah, Collis and Vote are statistically the best duo lane. Are they the best duo lane?
No.
And that's that. There you go. Like, that's my approach. It's like, I get it. I think Dignitas has been a better team. I think Energy has been a better team.
At times.
I think United has been a better team.
At times.
I think that
holistically,
that's probably it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there you go.
Right. I don't know, man. Because I don't know. I think the reason why I have a hard time is because I don't know who wins them their games. You know what I mean? Like, let's say that I'm talking about E United. I can go, or Energy, right? I go, yeah, Yemen or Adapting could just win the game for them. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Or Cubo or Zeros, one of them will just win the game for them one day. Like, for sure. Splice, yeah, Aurora or Divios will just win. Sino will just win. I don't say that for anyone on Rival.
So their laning phase is not very good, and the laning phase is where teams with individual strength really shine.
Yeah.
Rival has made a name for themselves and established a strong W column off of the fact that they are a holistic unit.
Yes.
They're the Voltron team.
I think that more so than before, they're very good individually as well now, too.
And that, to me...
Yeah.
is a problem.
You think so?
So
you think that the Voltron pieces are too big to fit together anymore? Maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Not absolutely.
Yes.
But they have to figure out how to refit themselves. We got to a point watching Rival where they were winning as a unit, and that's how they got famous, and that's how they got successful, and that's how they established their essential brand. And then Deathwalker became a superstar, and they were still winning, even though Deathwalker was a superstar, because he was still in the solo laner. He was buying into the rest of the squad. He was buying into the rest of the team. But then he started to stand out on his own. They were still winning because they were playing teams like fucking SK, right? Sorry, Lobster. And like looking at what they were able to do, I should look here. Looking at what they were able to do, it was fine, but it was like, yes, you know what, you could win 4-on-5 playing against a bunch of high schoolers if you're in the NBA. Like, sure, that works out. And that's a harsh analogy, but the point is that, like, then you saw Ice Ice kind of step up and be the guy. My point is that they were better individually, but they were not at their team potential. And even though they weren't at their team potential, they were still winning games. When you come to fucking world championships, you need to play at your team potential because everybody else is. And so a return to the Voltron type play, a return to the unit type play that we're used to seeing is how they succeed. And I think that the fact that they got better individually and they trusted that is the issue. Theoretically, if Rival come back as this 5 unit and they try to win again, Alpha Jackal's whoever their coach's biggest task is to get them to play as a team again. That's their issue.
I wonder if there's anything to use another basketball analogy, because I think that real sports are very much correlate to our esports. There are a lot of people who say having 2 people who can take the game-winning shot is bad. You know what I mean? Like, if you're on Cleveland and every time it's LeBron, that is good. There is a cohesive plan when you run your 7-second play to get LeBron his best shot every time, right? And sometimes maybe if there's 2 good plans, you're doing 2 bad plans instead of 1 good one. There's a chance that's true, right? Do you think that in good moments, instead of going, we literally have to do this as a unit because we don't win any other ways, is a better strategy than should we do it as a unit or trust our individual play and maybe you're in between? You know what I mean? Like in that halfway point.
No. I think that I went to the school of the triangle.
The triangle offense?
Yes, I went to school of the triangle. The idea that you create
coaching Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan is pretty easy. Is that the school you went to?
What I call it in card games is I want to give my opponent the impossible decision, right?
Right, but I'm talking about the decision-making process on their side.
No.
Which is, I think, a different question.
Right, I understand. So like when you have one option, give LeBron the ball, that's what I'm blocking.
Sure, but you can't block LeBron.
Sure.
You can't stop Rival from 5-manning you, is what I'm saying. I think they're LeBron level when they do that.
Oh, okay. No, because I would much rather trust him as a unit because 3 people are going to initiate. You kill Wolfie, and then Ice Ice and Deathwalker fuck you.
Literally.
Right? You focus on the right side of the map, Vote's free casting, and he's one of the best hunters on the planet. Right? You give them a chance. God forbid Kalas actually gets in there. You fucking lose.
Like the Ares or Athena for some reason.
Yeah.
You're like,
so
oh no.
It's like, all right, you're dead. Would you like me to like saw you off or like or choose your method of death?
Sure.
Right? That's when they execute kind of perfectly. When they focus on an individual and they're like, Ice Ice go in every time, teams can adapt to that. and teams will adapt to that.
But to continue my basketball analogy, the thing is, I think that if they want to play like the Golden State Warriors, right, where all 4 shots are good shots.
Yes.
Like Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, anyone can take my game-winning shot on that team. I don't know if they were there. They're trying to play like Golden State, but I don't know if any of them can take the game-winning shot.
I think that they are there, and with a Golden State type team, they played like Cleveland. What that means for the they're a teams team. They need all 5 players on the same level doing the same thing. But here, I think they trusted the individuals, and that works for E United. That works for Splice. That works for Trifecta. That's Trifecta's whole fucking playbook is give the ball to Sam and Paul, and that man shoots shit. Like
literally give him Hebo and give him Bancross tier 2. That is our giving him the ball.
He wins he won the game. That was so funny to me. Was that placements? Where he got Hebo? Yeah. Placements was just like, yeah, dude. Just we'll see what happens if Paul gets Hebo, and he won the game in 6 minutes.
He's pretty good.
Like he won the fucking game in 6 minutes. That's fine if you're Trifecta.
Sure.
Ice Baby is fantastic. He's not winning the game in 6 minutes.
Right.
That's not the skill set of this team, and that's fine. There's multiple approaches to this game, which is why I fucking love it.
Yes.
You don't have to play like every team. Rival could win playing their brand of Smite. This is not a game where the meta fit the world championship. The world champion. This is you could. I think
aggressive supports being good really helps Splice.
Yes, but I think that any team's approach at Worlds could have won Worlds this year.
I think, and that is a good point that I wrote down here and we somehow skipped, which was just that the level of competition this year was the best it's ever been, bar none, by like a long amount. But I mean like by a huge amount. Like every team that came up, if you had told me Trifecta won at the end, I'd have gone, oh, but not like whoa, like I would have if you'd said it last year. I'd been like, oh. Yeah, well, Paul and Sam probably snapped, right, or popped, right? Whoever your worst team there was a case to make. That's why I did a series called "Making the Case," because literally you could for any of them. It was very close.
We're very close to, or excuse me, I think like we're at the point where there's just so many levels to the game. There's so many variables to take into account. Every player will tell you just can't be better than people anymore.
Right.
That's what makes Paul and Baskin special, is that they are just better than you. And I mean, that's absurd now. Yeah. Cyclone Spin was regularly better than other shows.
I think you can beat the LGs and the SKs that way. No one else probably.
Yeah. And if that's your gimmick,
Mouse was the 5th worst team in EU.
Yeah.
That blows my mind to this day. What? They're so good. Are you kidding me?
Mouse never got a chance to actually play.
They're so good.
Mouse switched their.
I want that to be clear to everyone. Whatever you think about them, that's a really good team. They were the 5th worst. They were 5th.
Yeah.
And they were insane. I don't know.
I'm still a Tartarus fanboy.
Me too. That's a good team. Are you kidding me, dude? That's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our level of competition was insane. That's nuts to me.
No, it was a different game also. I think that the combination of the fact that the game is really well balanced. Mm-hmm. You can play any fucking character anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't get played? Hades?
Yeah, Anubis.
Anubis got played.
He got played?
Placements.
Oh, placements, okay.
And Anubis got played versus Bakasura, which I believe in.
Sure.
Anubis heals off of the minions, he vomits,
Bakasura's
and out-damages you.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
No. But so
I'm not saying the match is bad. I'm just saying, bummer. Bakasura is good.
Yeah, the Anubis was picked into the Bakasura. Like, it wasn't a troll pick. You know what I mean? Like, and Cobb says Anubis was a viable pick for Splice, right? I believe that Anubis is a fucking machine for like damage. This was one of the most I'm gonna get memed. Well balanced, right? You can play anything anywhere. Yes, we had the top 4 fucking picks, right? I get it, but I'll play anything anywhere. That combined, that opens up the God pool situation. So like players like Moswall are viable.
Yeah.
Moswall's God pool is fucking weird, and whether or not that has kept him out of the pro league or not.
Outwash being first pick ban in finals is pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
If you're here from a year ago, that is funny to you.
Pretty much.
What I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so players like Moswall are allowed to play. Yeah. So you've got that open-ended nonsense. The change to Siege. The change to how easy it is to defend now.
Another big point thing that makes Outwash strong.
That becomes In no other season did we have to take that into account when planning the game or doing picks and bans. I never was like, oh, they need to have a siege composition. It was just like, well, if you're winning the game, you'll win the fight there too.
No, that's something I've been hearing more from coaches is that you have to make sure that when you're drafting, part of what you're, considering is, can this team work in the sieging stage of the game as well? Can this team, can this team defend? Can this team break through?
Yeah.
Are we giving them Thoth or something like that? Who might suck everywhere else, and he kind of does, I think. But in Siege, good luck getting in there.
And then
Agni, good luck getting in there.
And then there's the X's and O's of it as well. Like, you can't just shove 5 dudes in a lane and say, we're going to take your Phoenix now.
Right.
Now you see the 3-1 split or the 4-1 split. You see a 3-1-1, 3-2. Like, that's a level of complexity that our game didn't have before.
Right.
And that allows the coaches and the background talent to be. It's now more variable. You can be better at Smite than somebody else for more reasons than just pushing buttons.
Yes.
And there's more. What I'm trying to say is there are more variables that separate teams from another, and there are more distinctions. And so it was just an incredible season from a gameplay standpoint. I was really impressed with the creativity and the complexity of the game and the players. And I think that that's a result of the game's been out of beta for like 4 years now. Like this is a MOBA. It doesn't work like year 2.
And that's why I think Splice are good world champions for us, because I think they can win a lot of ways. To talk about the finals and them beating rival, is that Splice they'll run over you in the early game if you let them. They will win it in the laning phase if you let them. They're looking to do that. But if you go even with them in the late game, they don't vanish. They don't shrink away. They can trifecta you. They can wait and just defend and beat you there too. They have so many ways to win. The fact to me that Aurora can take Finmer, who's largely good because Unchained is unstoppable level 1s and 2s, right? Largely that is it. And then also make him seem like an unkillable late game god too, right? Like, how do we stop all this initiation? He does both with them so well. So I think that's why Splice, to me, are such good fitting champions, because the game is so versatile, and that team is one of a variety of ways.
Exactly. I mean, Aurora has been one of the more creative players in the game since Fact Chunks Assemble, since that LAN you went 2 years ago. That's his thing. He was playing Fenrir support
when no one else was, and it was by all intents and purposes not good.
No, it was fine.
I don't think.
I loved his Fenrir support. There were some of the other picks that I didn't love.
I like Aurora.
No. On a very serious note, I think the Fenrir support was good then.
Sure.
They just lost for a number of other reasons. The Bakasura support.
Remember who their hunter was at that time?
Oh, little Sam Shrew. Sam Shrew. Yo, Sam Shrew been playing.
Uknik was on that team.
Uknik. Yo, Uknik is like 4 feet tall.
That was my first team I ever liked.
Uknik is like discount TV.
Yeah.
But that's a burn.
Dude, I think I saw Sam. Not saw him, but like he was like in a chat or something.
Sam Shrew chills in my chat and has been playing ranked in my gold games.
Yeah, Sam Shrew.
He says he's interested in playing for season 6.
That's sick.
He's playing ranked in my gold games.
Well, I mean,
it would be really cool.
Maybe it's been a minute since he played. I don't know, but I mean, like, that's cool to me as someone who.
It's very cool to me. I don't think he's playing season 6.
Oh, I mean, there's SML.
That'd be cool. It's also. I mean, he was.
I cannot evaluate
the youngest player
level, by the way, right? I don't know what level he's at.
So I mean, if y'all don't remember Sam Shrew, he was very bad. But
team was very
bad pro, right? But he was also like literally 13, maybe 12.
Yeah.
So who knows, right? Sure, maybe he grows up, but like,
sure.
Yeah, no, it's we'll see. Sam Shrew's back, he's around, and like he was asking me in ranked. He was like, "Oh, that's F dot, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey man, you know who this is?" I was like, "Your name is Sam Shrew." I'm like, "Yes." But you're not on an alt; it's just Sam Shrew.
Right.
And he was asking questions about like the league and the teams and stuff. So he's been out of the scene. So he was like, "I'm interested." He watched some of the
that's cool.
Some of the worlds. Yeah, it's cool.
Doors open for that kind of stuff, man. I really like it. But, I mean, so we had the best possible finals, I think, right? It was Game 5. It was NA versus EU, if you believe there's any inherent value in that.
I don't.
Which you don't. I understand. It was the picks and bans. Do you want to rant on it? I think we'll talk about it
I was
next.
Memeing the fact that I've ranted about it like 3 times.
I think very likely we'll have to hit on that next week because we've been talking so much about HRX, which is fine. But it was everything that you could have wanted in it. The picks and bans were back and forth and very good until Game 5. I thought that was more interesting than even some gameplay at some points was the picks and bans and their back and forth.
Oh, I'm such a nerd for P's.
It was everything I think you could have wanted in a finals, which is. I know it sounds like I'm building it up for no reason, but we often have bad finals, actually. We usually have really good semis.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, like a somewhat mismatched
I mean,
finals.
Worlds 1, we had like 5 games. And that's it.
Yeah. This was really close. It was really good. I thought it was really good finals, yeah.
I was super amped. I did want to see Trifecta there.
Just follow a team, you sheeple.
I did want to see, you're making the frogs gay! Every time I hear sheeple, I think of it.
Yeah.
And I have to say it.
Dude, I wonder if you could do like an InfoWars like costume. You think you could do it and just yell like walking around?
Me?
Yeah.
Like me personally or in general?
Like you. Or anyone also, but you specifically now.
Do you think it would be, I don't know, at all believable that I was some sort of like
pundit?
Crazy, brain damaged, delirious, far edge screaming man?
Yes. I don't think you're brain damaged or any of that. Or delirious.
Oh, I think I could make people believe that very easily.
I think you could play up to it. I know you're not, but
but I think I could absolutely make people think that.
Okay, yes, sorry, yes. That is an answer I will say.
Team Rivals losing because Hi-Rez, they like NA.
Yeah.
They're biased towards NA, and they want NA to win all the worlds. This is what they're doing. They made Rival lose. They poisoned Yaman. They put fluoride in his water, and Yaman couldn't come because Hi-Rez wanted NA to win. They kept Alpha Jackal at home. They sabotaged Alpha Jackal at Worlds. That's why Rival didn't win.
Is that what they did?
Hi-Rez wants NA to win.
Is that what they did?
They're making the minor league gay. That's what they're doing.
I wonder, like, because they always, like, bring him, like, shitty articles they wrote, but I don't have the actual props to make that bit work. I wanted to, like, have that, like, shuffled around, but I didn't have the actual props to make that work.
I need an actual tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I think you could do it. But I don't know. I was very happy with the way that the finals went. I thought that they were great games. I think it's aided much by the fact that Aurora literally brought a caravan, like... Thank goodness they're not from South America, right? To like come watch. I mean, that was really that added so much to it. It was awesome. Yeah.
The Splice guy's got a good shot of his whole family. They were all wearing Aurora jerseys. Got the whole family. Aurora's like, and his whole family's like next to him in the Aurora jersey. It was really cool.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy. It's just like. Not just that they won, but like every time, like I talked to him and I was up on the stage in that moment, and he was just like. He was so happy that he did it for the team. It wasn't even for him. It felt like, he was like, I'm glad I was able to come up and play well enough for my team to win.
Aurora is humble to the point where it's hard to like have an objective conversation with him.
Right.
We did the interview, which you can find on my YouTube, but there was a lot of stuff that some of it's on the film and some of it's not, where I'm just like, yes, I mean, like, you're pretty sick. And so like, he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, for the purposes of the conversation, you have to be good at the game because that's how I'm making my point.
Right.
And he's like, oh, but I don't do anything against my team. I'm like, no, you have to understand that wasn't a shameless plug. The shameless plug would be, you can find the video on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/f.ny. Gotcha, Phil.
Did this guy say World Cup?
Probably.
Do we call it a World Cup?
But like, fucking.
Are we allowed to say that even?
No. Aurora's the guy that's like, I'm like, all right, so... you guys did really well. I think the meta kind of shifts towards strong support players. You're a strong support player. You'll be like, no. And I'm like, just fucking go, like, just let me do it for 1 second. Right. Let me tell you you're good for 1 second.
Right.
And he's like, no, man, it's the team. I'm like, I get that. But you're the leader, and you're a big part of, like, what has let this happen. And he's like, no, man, not at all. I'm like, you're fucking high. Like, you are absolutely a big part of this team. Like, you and Cobb have led this team to victory. He's like, no, man. And I'm like, you need to shut up.
Cobb says, if we ever lose a game, Aurora will just say, I lost that for us. I did insert small misplay, and that was it. Like, he really does put a lot on himself, I think, and hold himself to a high standard. And you can see that stuff on his sleeve. Like, you saw it when Eager made Worlds, right? When he was on that team.
Oh, yeah.
Literally tackling Zapman. I mean, clearly, it means a lot to him.
He's a passionate guy.
And it's the win, I think, it's hard to have, to think of guys that deserved it or more, Like, they all did. I don't like that sentence because I think Rival.
I respect
I would be happy if Rival won.
I respect that.
I mean, like, it just, you clearly could see it from those guys. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I don't think Rival deserved to win because they did. Clearly.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I don't know if I like that. I like the journey that Aurora made as well. I was talking to his brother about this, actually, which is really cool. So his brother is pro mobile player in his own right. He plays League.
Yeah.
And so his brother, we were talking, and he like came over to me and like thanked me and everything, which was cool to me. Shout out there. But we were talking. I was like, real talk, it was cool because I tried to say this to Aurora, and of course he was like, no, it's not me. But Aurora started, and he did Fat Chunks Assemble, and he was too young to be the leader. And like DJ like had a lot of influence there. Him and DJ are very close. And then he like learned from Eager. He learned from Fat Chunks. But I could always see him and Polar Bear Mike were the same in my eyes. Where when they came into the scene, when I watched them play early on, I was like, "You're going to be a great leader soon."
Sure.
Like not now. You're too immature. You're too wet. Like get
and that's
established.
That's better foresight than me. I always thought Aurora was better than most teams he was on. I've always thought that, but I never saw him as like the one who should be leading it. But clearly, he's like that emotional core. I would say, and I think PBM, maybe I saw the writing a little bit more there. But you're so right.
Yeah.
That Aurora has definitely grown into this. It's clearly there.
And this Splice team, he like stepped up and was like, and I don't mean to say that he was slouching. He finally got to a point where I think he was comfortable being sort of a leader figure. He stepped up and he like made some harsh decisions with Yuji and with Best.
Yes,
but like
can't have been easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean him and Best are like boys.
Yes.
Yuji, I don't know how close they are, but like you cut a player before the season began. Like he made a lot of hard decisions, and he rose to being that leader. And watching Aurora try to be a leader, fail, grow up, find what it takes to be a leader, identify that he has it, become that leader, and then lead a team to victory was really impressive, especially because one of the most important qualities I think of a leader is delegation and understanding it's a team. Bringing in Cobb and trusting his team, and being selfless as he is probably one of the most impressive.
And trusting
Cobb's
voice too, right? Like that's
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Super impressed with Aurora, and like I said, that is like the story that I might have been rooting for that story more than Rival's story, because the coming of age is I'm a sucker for a good coming of age story. I watched Rudy 40 times.
Does Rival need to change? No. 2 worlds in a row where they couldn't do it?
No.
I mean, like, no, you would make any adjustment. You would just run it back. You think is best for them?
Yes. I think I would. I think if
without knowing more about that locker room, so to speak, I don't think I can say more. I think I have to agree. You know what I mean? Like,
you have a very strong conversation with Wolfie this offseason.
Sure.
Wolfie has been a problem for Rival. Period. He has been an issue.
He has been the sole reason they've won games and the sole reason they've lost games.
And the latter more often than the former.
Yes.
And the games that he is the sole reason they've won, they might have been able to swing it back with Vote and DW.
Sure.
I think Wolfie's very emotional, and I love that about him, but I think that can also kind of clog the arteries a little bit. I need to make it clear that I'm not saying he needs to go.
Sure.
But he needs to...
Did you not get an inside scoop on this? Like a confidant, a deep throat type reporter on this, or no?
No.
Oh, okay, no, okay. So I'm sorry.
Why?
No, I just thought maybe you did. No, you're right.
No, I think that Wolfie is why? What's going on here?
Just listening.
I'm
listening.
Confused.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
I think that Wolfie is very obviously like really emotional, and that can hurt or help the team.
Right.
And I think that if I'm Coach Alpha Jackal, I have a very serious conversation with Wolfie by himself. I have a very serious conversation with Wolfie and the rest of the team, and I make sure that everybody is doubled down and a part of what's going on here. And as long as I can trust Wolfie as long as Wolfie tells me, and Wolfie is an honest man, and he's a very rigid, honest, stoic man. I have that conversation, and I make him tell me that he's going to win next year. And if he loses, I don't care. But I want him to tell me that, yes, we're going to win next year. This is what we're doing. And I run it the fuck back. And I trust Wolfie 500%. No part of me after that conversation feels that, oh, maybe he's an issue. Maybe we got to walk away. Da-da-da-da-da. I hard commit. Wolfie's got to show me that, though. Wolfie has to show me that.
I think if you have that conversation with me and it's after season 4 where you lose Worlds 3-1, I go, okay, this is a bigger motivator than you can imagine. I think coming that close and losing is probably the best thing for a team you could ask for, right,
Yeah,
for next year. I don't think number 2 is the same case. I don't think you can lose again virtually the same way, right, to an out-of-nowhere North American team that's been stomping everyone and you couldn't get over that hump in the finals. They improved a little bit. They did go to 5 games instead of 4, but I don't know if this unit can do that. How do you as 5 people go, well, next time we'll just do it, right? I mean, like, you now have twice in a row seen that you can't.
I don't view the seasons in a vacuum. I think the performance that Rival put on to get to finals would have won them last year.
Right.
I think
they're better than they were last year.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that they grew just like the rest of the squads. If Rival played the way that they played in semifinals and arguably finals, but whatever. If Rival played the way they played in semifinals and finals last year, Polar Bear Mike doesn't have a ring.
Yeah, like they played sick here.
Yeah,
up until game 5. But that's my point. That focusing for 5 games is part of it, and they couldn't do it. Right?
I think what I'm trying to say is I think that everybody elevated.
Yes. Yes.
And the end result is we both wind up with the L, but everyone got hotter. Right. Like the world championship last season, the world champion E United is 90 degrees and Rival was 88. And this year, Rival was 100 degrees. It just so happens Splice was 105.
Yeah.
So I don't look at this year as you need to win and that's a failure in and of itself. But I don't look at this season as an egregious breakdown of a team. They didn't backtrack. They still moved forward.
Right.
And as long as you're moving forward, I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. The question is that their ceiling, I guess, is really, if I put the right words into it, the question I'm asking you. And I think at a certain point, maybe I have to say yes. Maybe it is. And maybe this team, for whatever reason, can't get it. Do they need then a true... And I don't know if it's fair to say a true star, because I think Deathwalker is that, right? Deathwalker truly can win you some games, but maybe they need him not in the solo lane. Maybe they need that true star somewhere else. Maybe that's true. I don't know who it could be. Those guys are very good. There are not a lot of people better than them out there. Yeah. It's impossible to say, but I mean, maybe you got to make a change if you want to make it work. To be fair to them, they've won everything else they've ever done all the time. They're so good. I don't know. I just think if you're
it.
What?
Oh, I'm talking to Fails.
Oh, Fails. Oh no, not Fails. I love Fails, not him. I love him. Sorry, buddy. Not. Is that what you said?
No, I'm not saying Fails should join.
Oh, okay. That's not. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just.
No. Fails says that he's got insider information.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. So I was trying to be.
Fails, tell us. Yeah.
Well, he was going to, and then you just took a shit
Wait, did I
him.
Did I step on the only guy who had our information?
You became the toxic streamer. Fails was in Discord.
That was bad.
He was going to join the show.
That's bad journalism.
And tell us the information. And then you shit on him, and he left Discord. He was talking to Jameson. Jameson had him on the line.
Right, yeah.
He was ready to go.
Yeah.
He was going to say, this is what's happening with Rival. And you goofed.
Yep. That's me. I stepped on the toes. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll just go into my Twitter. I assume I've got the goods in my DMs. Let me just pull those up real quick. I do not. No notifications, no messages. So no. Oh, I do have one message.
I have a notification.
No, it's not information, though.
BigBoyWieners.com.
Those are some big boy wieners.
Your subscription
Hindu Man said, yeah, that's the min you have to take. I don't know what that means. I don't know. That didn't help me. Thanks a lot.
You should resubscribe to your thing.
It's automatic. There's no need to even worry.
All right.
Any more thoughts on this finals? It was a really good finals. I loved it. I was geeking out.
Finals.
I was a huge Smite fan.
I was really excited. Commentary was a lot of fun. Those tricasts. I've had a lot of questions about like the X's and O's of like casting.
Right. A lot of people thought the screen was on the floor that we watched on. I don't know why they thought that.
It was. I mean, so it
wasn't that low.
The screen was like if you're standing up, the screen was like halfway. It was like 3 or 4 feet tall, and it was like tilted up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For I mean, looking at each screen, it's like an energy thing, but it's easy. It's not easy, but after doing live commentary for a number of years, it's easy to cast with people because, like, when you're done talking, I talk. That's it.
Sure.
Now, it's much more complicated than that, but as you've been doing it for a long time, you get used to it.
Ideally, it does get very natural. Yes.
3-person is much more difficult.
Yes.
Even with, like, you're hanging out with your boys, you're going to talk over each other. We talk over each other in the show. But on a broadcast like that.
Here, though.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like different arenas.
Yeah.
On the live play-by-play commentary, like it's very different. So it's really fun to do that. it takes a lot of tech. Production doesn't always have like the availability for us to do that because there's just extra shit. So we don't get to do it during the regular season. Sorry. And it's also kind of more fun to like, it's something special. Right? And then we all kind of have our positions. I get to do what I do, in my opinion, best, which is kind of like flex. I'm like a jack of all trades, master of none, right? Hindu's just like, oh, I'm yelling about the team play. And I was like, I'm giving you every X's and O's and every breakdown. I'm sports guy. And I kind of do both. Again? Oh, oh,
yeah, you want to just do Hindu Man for a little bit? That should be on our show, right? We just do a Hindu Man voice?
I don't want to do Hindu Man.
Is that what you thought I meant? Is that legitimately what you thought I meant? All right.
All right, mate.
It's so bad.
It's so good. Oi.
F. wants to sleep with Hindu Man confirmed. Perfect.
Oh, I disagree.
All right.
Oh, I disagree, mate.
Finch, if you come in late again.
If you're fucking late.
No,
one
that's
more
not,
fucking time.
That's not Hindu.
That's not Hindu at all. That's a different English. That's a...
Yeah, that's like somehow even like poorer than Hindu was, like kind of a guy. Yeah. Like, for sure.
Did you live in a swamp?
Me?
You're from like the boonies down here.
Yes, I am, yes. Not... Yes, what so?
You can't make fun of
you saying Are you saying that I can't have lateral shit talk? Yeah, of course I can.
Oh, that's Hindu next week. That fits your person. Hindu who hasn't spoken for an hour just comes through and goes, oh, that's how next week. That's how next week's gonna be.
Oh shit, we picked a really bad time because I don't know if Hindu's put this out there publicly, but he's not having a great time right now. So we definitely shouldn't be fucking with him this much.
Hindu's gonna sit there. So like
Manchester's full of great people.
Hey, I will say.
It's not up to me right now to talk an entire place.
Can somebody tell me if the term mank is a slur?
I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to say it.
I don't know if it's a slur, but every person I've met from Manchester has been a slam dunk. like New York and Manchester are like our fucking sister cities.
Tom, what kind of people do you like to spend your time with?
Like cool, fun-loving, party-going.
We can keep
sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. That's how we do it.
That sounds like your place, yeah.
That's how we do it. And like Manchester kind of has that. But yeah.
Oh, Hindu's okay with me saying it? Okay, cool. I didn't know if he was or not.
Graham's trying to quit smoking, and Hindu's been smoking for a long time. And he's also not a stickler for much, but lateness is very disrespectful to him.
And he's correct, yes.
I get it.
But I'm not making fun of him. He is factually correct every time.
Especially since he's like so loose about a lot of other things.
Yes, he's very generous.
Like he's like the leader that's in the pit with the rest of us. Yeah. But like he'll sit there and like let you do whatever the fuck you want. But like if you're 3 minutes late, you're being a dick. But this week, I think you're gonna come in next week and he's gonna be like
17 seconds late, huh?
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing, Finch? You really need that Popeyes? Really? Okay. 17 minutes late.
I do.
A second late.
They're so slow.
Dude, it's so close.
I tried to go today before we came in. I was in the line for 20 minutes. In the drive-thru. 20 minutes.
You gotta go. So
I could have cooked my own food.
The prank is to go and ask for the blackened chicken. Jameson did this to me once upon a time. He's like, "No, bro, just go ask for the blackened chicken." And so you go, and it's not on the menu, and you ask for it, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." It's gonna be a little bit of a wait, okay? And I'm like, "No doubt." It's like 3:15. I remember this specifically because I'm sitting there, and a new album had just come out. I forget which one, but I go through like 4 or 5 songs, and I'm like. As I listen to the 5th song, I'm like, the average length of a song is about like 2 to 3 minutes. 5 times 2 to 3. It's like, have I been here for 15? And I see it's 3:40, and the woman's giving me my chicken. Meanwhile, there's 7 cars in the drive-thru behind me.
It's so annoying, dude.
I think a lesser.
Louisiana Fast. That's a good meme.
I think a lesser like. I am not socially anxious at all.
Sure.
I think a person with a lower tolerance
when we drive places, you like. Yell at people out of my window. Sometimes it's because you like their dog.
Oh, you hate it?
I do. Sometimes it's because they litter, and I hate it.
Oh no, fuck that guy. We was in the drive-thru, and the guy like at like McDoodles, the guy he takes his shit and he goes, okay, I'm done with it, and throws it out the car. And I go, yo, are you going to pick that up?
Thom, that's not your you tried to open the door. I had to lock it. I had to lock the door because you actively tried to get out.
I was going to take the paper and just be like, you dropped this, and just give it to him.
And then come back to my car was your plan. I was like, Thom, I can't let you.
I mean, why are you doing it? Come on, man.
You don't know. We're in Georgia. That dude might have a gun. You don't know.
That's fair. I mean, it's the same thing from New York.
That is very true.
You just like, oh no, you get in that situation, you go, my bad. And you walk away.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to shoot you for that. He's going to shoot you if you escalate past that. But if you go and you're like, bro,
Thom, if that guy walks back over to our car, you will escalate it beyond that. There's no way he walks back over and you go, my bad. There's no world where that happens.
If he pulled a gun, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. Yes.
That's where it differs. He's not going to be like, oh, surprise, bang, bang. You know what? Maybe
sure. I don't know. I'm just saying if he had walked over unarmed and had a problem, you would have taken issue with it. And I'm not saying, I'm not even judging you. I'm just describing a truth.
Well, maybe he shouldn't have littered in the first place.
Yes. I'm not saying you're morally incorrect. I'm saying I don't want him to attack us.
How many times has a gun been pulled on you?
None. I've been okay. I've had a relatively safe life. I'd like that to keep going. I'm okay with that, Thom.
No, I'm not saying that is a negative. I'm saying that we're perpetuating the stereotype that I have heard EU players say, I don't know about season 6 guns.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, that is absolutely a political pillar of our conversation right now. But I know
it's not a day-to-day reality.
I know thousands of people. And a handful of them have interacted with a firearm.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a thing. That said, there are a lot of people that get stabbed in the UK, I'm just saying.
Yeah, because they don't have guns.
Knife crime is really dangerous.
Because you gotta have a knife. Yeah. Dude, that's so wild. I don't know. I don't want to get stabbed, my dude.
Yeah, I'm good.
Back to you and wanting to do Handyman. But I think that we should. We've talked so much, so long. I want to go over some more future facing stuff. But I think that might be better for next week to do it then. So, am I not rapping?
Oh no, I'm saying we should wrap it up. It's been we have a 2-hour show and it's 2 hours.
Right. I'm saying am I not rapping?
Oh no, you are. You're not actually just speaking. Can you rap for us?
What I'm saying is I was right, and then you told me to do it.
Can you do the rhyme?
No.
Yo, Jameson, drop a beat. No, I don't want you to rap. I want you to drop a beat so Finch can rap.
He is saying no. What I'm getting from Jameson is no on this.
Watch the breakdown.
Oh, that's from one of Drake's songs. Either way, I appreciate you all coming back out. I know it's been a while since we've been here, so I appreciate you coming back. I will upload the VODs on my YouTube channel. It'll just be Finch on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it if you came in late and you want to see what we talked about towards the beginning. That will be there. We'll be back again next week, Saturday, around 2 o'clock.
2-ish.
2-ish, something along those lines. You're coming into my single now, which I will not abide. Get out of here to my single, but very much appreciate y'all watching. We'll be back again next week. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, and we'll be back next Saturday.